Welcome to Harvest to Pour, the business of beverages, with your host, Matthew Schiff. This is the podcast for all of those who are involved in the agriculture all the way to the distribution of beverages. And now your host, Matthew Schiff.
Hello and welcome to Harvest to Pour. I'm your host, Matthew Schiff, and today I am here with Robyn Zlotkin, the CEO of Sword Performance, the leader in healthy hydration that helps combat heat stress through hydration. So welcome today, Robyn. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. It's really, really great. I'm really excited talking to you today. So take us through, introduce your company, introduce Sword Performance, give us a brief overview of the organization and the company.
Sure. So we are a healthy hydration electrolyte product that's all natural, no preservatives, no chemicals, no dyes. So it's everything that your body was intended to have. The beautiful thing about the product line is it works with your body than against it. So what does that mean? It means that the way that it was made, it's less in your bloodstream. So it's allowed to push through to get to your extremities, to give you the hydration that you need without having to work so hard. So this is very different than what's out in the market today. Many of the products that are out in the market have other additives and preservatives in there. And what that means is that your body has to find water from other parts of your body to work through it to get the electrolytes that you need for hydration. Now, I speak to this pretty seriously in the sense that I am using our product line in the athletes of industry. So all the workers that are out there in the fields have to be properly hydrated. Just like our football players, same thing. If not, I would tell you that a blast furnace is a lot harder to work in than a football field. So with that, I personally have been in the industrial industry for pretty much my whole career. And I was introduced to this product line. And prior to it, I always provided a hydration product. I didn't really think about it. I just provided it. And when I was talked to by the co-founder of the product, Sean Stasco, and he went through with the ingredients and how the makeup came and how they developed this product based on cancer patients going through chemo and needing to be properly hydrated to work through that. I was taken back and I thought, let me see what this is all about. Let me see if I can introduce this product into the industrial industry. You know, we're still dealing sometimes with sweet tea. So let's see if they really are willing to make that healthy change. And quite quickly, US Steel was the first client that I approached. And they were really blown away about what this product could do for them and the amount of heat stress, cases that are just out in the industry, not even specific to them, just in the industry. And then if there was something out there that could help solve that problem, then that would be, hugely, for so many reasons, would be such a huge win. So we went on the mission and we started getting the product out and tested throughout all the facilities. And within a short period of time, we were quickly awarded a contract with them nationally. And, the many things that they did with that in the sense of getting people right out of the gate when they came in for their shifts to have one of our product lines, the Sword, that you see the bottle behind me. And they kind of use that more of like, we don't know where you're going, what you're doing last night, what's happening in your life. But when you come into work, you're doing dangerous work. And we want to make sure that you don't have fatigue or, brain fatigue from dehydration. We know how we all feel. And so they gave this product line to them. And on the way in, on the way out, and all throughout the day, being that it's water-based, they could drink it all day. So with that, I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. So at the time I was in a distribution business running that. And I decided I was going to come here and really have an impact on the industry and change what was occurring with heat stress cases and that leading to death. And we all hear about certain things during the summer of unfortunate situations that really shouldn't happen. So now I'm on a mission to quickly get this product in as many hands as possible. And loving the opportunity to talk with you today to help do that mission.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, were you also a co-founder of Sword Performance, or did you come in a little bit later?
I came in later. I came
Okay.
in, I was the first customer, let's just say in the industrial
Oh,
industry. So I was running
okay.
a distribution business and they reached
Hmm.
out to me and introduced their product. And I said, let me see. That's kind of when I made the comment about the sweet tea. I don't know how much,
Yeah.
they have hydration in their budget, but I'm not sure what they're thinking. And that's
What
when I
that looks
really
like.
realized it was a lots of, athletes at one time that are in this and they do care
Mhm.
about their bodies. So that's how it kind of started.
Interesting. So, so when you came to Sword, what were some of the early challenges you faced as you moved in? You're the first customer. You were really inspired by this product that they were working on. What were some of the challenges you ran into as you came into the company?
Yeah. So, I think it's hard for any startup company as far as scaling the business and making sure that you're running your cash flow properly in order to support the
Mhm.
growth that you're having. So, unfortunately, in this short period, a couple of years or 4 years, we've really had a lot of learning lessons in a growing company that has led us to now really, run it in a much different way than we originally did when I first started the company.
Okay. And so, what were some of your approaches to overcoming some of these challenges?
You know, I was thinking about that. What are some of the approaches that we have now implemented that, maybe we quite didn't have before? Uh, you
Hmm.
know, I think sometimes beverage companies or startup companies look at it like you got to have investors and it's all about the investors and that you kind of build out the product and you have this amazing product. And when you go to sell it, it's all just going to work itself out. And I think that's very false. And I kind of had to learn that the hard way, unfortunately. So, what I have been doing as far as making these drastic changes as I became the CEO in December, we moved our business location and headquarters to Pittsburgh to a much smaller area, more central, more freight friendly area, as well as we started to run the business. At least I'm running the business like it's almost like it's my own personal bank account. And I say that in a way is like the money does matter. Every dollar matters. And we can be profitable. We can run this perfectly without investor dollars.
Mm,
And
okay.
we have been able to do so since I've taken over, where we're really, we're now running each month and we're seeing how we can be cash flow positive. And I think that goes to just thinning out wherever possible, multitasking at its best, and really treating it like it's your own personal money. And I think people sometimes forget to do that.
Okay. So the money management piece is what you came into. Saw this for what it was. You don't necessarily need investors quite yet, and now you
Faster.
are
It's a very inventory intense business. So you definitely need
okay.
investors. I mean, I think that would be a false statement.
Yeah. Okay.
But the way that we're running this business from a B2B perspective and having great clients and customers that buy it in a bulk matter. So they buy the product in bulk and they pay
Mhm.
appropriately makes it a much easier process to flow and to cash flow.
So I'm assuming that also changes the way you do marketing as well.
Correct.
Okay. And we're going to get into that a little bit here in a minute. So we're going to move from that point, and I usually have this what I call a harvest to pour journey. Now, when I'm usually talking about beverages, it's a beverages where they're harvesting their raw materials, making it uniquely theirs, and the pour is about the marketing. Um, Now, your harvest, I'm going to go back into more like the research, I guess. You were really, I guess, in the early on days looking into what makes what can we do to make this a fatigue fighting and hydration additive
Mhm.
to water, but not make it full of everything else that kind of bloats you up like some of these other sports drinks can. What was that? What was that like? What was going through? Like, what were the tests? I think you mentioned one time that you had like a bunch of mixtures going on and trying different things out.
Yeah. So as far as I would definitely I have a sidekick. He's a mad scientist, as I keep speaking to him. Sean Stasco. He does a fabulous job and would continue to keep
Mhm.
on making it if we allowed him, but we have to keep him in a box right now. But really, it was finding the ingredients that are the minimum amount of ingredients because it takes your body 3 minutes to digest each ingredient. So if you have 15 plus ingredients in a product line that's supposed to give you electrolytes, it's going to take a long time until you start to feel hydrated from that product. So our goal was always, and our mission was to simplify the amount of ingredients, make it a water-based product line so that you can drink it all day. A lot of other companies and other products that are out in the market that are filled with a lot of ingredients, you have to drink water. It tells you can't drink this all day. You must have water in between.
Interesting.
There's a lot to be said about that. Yeah. Our product is purely, clean and clear. Everything that was intended to be in your body is in our product line.
Okay.
So we have 2 products. I think that's kind of important to state. So we have Sword and Shield are 2 product lines. Sword is, for intense heat. You're going into a battle. You need your sword to get into the battle. That's, temperatures above 80 degrees, you need your sword. Shield and Shield Zero are everyday hydration products. You can drink it all day. I'm drinking it right now. I drink it on my dad. It just keeps you going. It's a nice electrolyte drink. And so that's how our customer base can have the 2 product lines. And then we have them in the bottles that you see behind me. We have them in powders as well that you see behind me. And then we also have this freeze pop, which is like the hottest item ever.
That's a cool product. Okay. So I want to take me through one more time that the difference between Sword and Shield. Now, Sword is it's a faster absorption?
So Sword is more sodium-based product line. And when you're sweating, that's what you're losing. And so it tastes salty when when you taste your sweat, it tastes salty. So that's what we're replacing. It's not table salt. And additional to that, you have the fresh, it's also flavored with fresh fruit. So the carbohydrates from that fruit is what's going into your body. And then it has the way that it releases, fuel release of the product line is it goes like this in a nice slow manner, like 45 minutes. And then you're feeling that peak, but there's no like high and crash like you get with another product with high sugar. You would get and then go down. And then the Shield is just every day you need hydration. You need electrolytes. You just drink it all day. It tastes great. It's similar to what's out in the market today. So the only thing is ours is healthy and natural and no preservatives, but it's similar to what people are used to in the market and has a little bit of potassium in it, still the sodium. It has a little bit of stevia in it, so that's all natural. So has that taste that they're used to. And then Sword, when you're sweating, you have muscles in your tongue, and that's when it comes alive and it tastes really good. Sword when you're sweating, but not.
That's what I was wanting to ask about. You mentioned that to me one time before. It's like the taste changes for Sword.
Yes.
Go into that. That's really cool. That plays into what makes this so unique.
Yes, it's a taste adapt feature of the product line. And so what that means is, let's just, it's working in the sense, like, I guess the best example I would say is, let's just say you were going to mow the lawn and you go out to mow the lawn, you have, something to drink before you start. And after you finish mowing the lawn, you were to have the same product again, your muscles come alive in your tongue. Our product knows this, so it plays into it. And so when you are sitting on the sofa having Sword, you're going to taste the sodium. It's going to be, prevalent. However, when you are sweating, the muscles in your tongue come alive so much that all you're tasting is the orange, the berry, the pineapple mango, the lemonade. That's coming alive, and that's over tasting the sodium that's in the product line. So it's really, and we say it has a chuggable factor to it. All of our products have a chuggable factor. And that's important to note because the competition with the preservatives and sugars and chemicals and dyes, it gets like you can't drink anymore because of all of that stuff, all that sugar coming, the end to you. So you can't drink it. You can't go crazy. Just like when you go for a run, are you going and running and then having a piece of chocolate cake? That doesn't sound appetizing. It's the same thing with some of those drinks are like chocolate cakes. There's many of these products out there that are the big guys, and their ingredient count is about their healthy product that's supposable has 96% of the same ingredients as their soda drink.
93%?
96.
96? 96. Wow. Okay. So I really like that fact that you are down to the basic biology of what heat fatigue and heat stress is. It literally almost got a built-in indicator, like,
Yeah.
hey, if you drink it, you taste a little salt, maybe you should go back to the Shield. Or if it's time to, now you definitely notice the difference. It's going to make it more palatable, easy, like you said, easy to chug down, which probably what you want to do is get that into your system as fast as possible.
Yeah. And it's also a medical, I look at it as it's like liquid IV. Like it's a medical product in the sense that you don't want to put an IV in your arm, but like this is what it's doing. The military actually approved our product for a proactive product and a reactive. So SWORD can be used before you get into a situation and when you do get in a situation. So that's, it has a national NSN number, stock numbers associated with our product line. So I think that really, and they put us into the medical approval. So that speaks volumes to the line.
That speaks volumes,
Yeah, for sure, no doubt.
That's really unique. I like that. That is a nice segue, thank you very much, into the pour. It's kind of the marketing side. Now, you mentioned B2B.
Yes.
You mentioned that it's really you're really focused on this industrial athlete. And so was that the intent of this initially, or did you just kind of discover this is a really good place for it? Or how did you get to that point?
Yeah. So I've been in this industrial industry for pretty much my whole entire career. So I have a very sweet spot for this industry. And I, realized that they were lacking the opportunity of having a hydration product that could solve these heat stress cases, whether it's the organization, and the cost of a heat stress case is pretty significant, can be up to 6 figures. So knowing that and knowing that there is, there's death. I mean, it's just, there's so many cases there that we could really, really have an impact. And I wanted to be a part of that and be able to change the story. And yes, this product can be used in athletes and retail and all those other areas. But this was, maybe my passion area that I just personally love. And I love servicing this area of the workforce. I think of, the utilities, the steel workers, heavy manufacturing, construction, like all those areas. It's very, to me, Americana, and how can we make sure that they have the best?
Oh, that's great. And this is a really cool lesson for any business owner, just about the whole thing about niching. Niching has such a weird feel about, depending on how you feel on it, but you've really kind of defined that this is really a place that you've experienced and you wanted to help, and it really fits well. But at the same time, it could serve an athlete or a dad mowing his lawn just as equally.
Yeah, and we have some sports teams that are on our products, no doubt, and we've dabbled in that world. Sometimes I just dabble in it, so when I talk to my industry, that they know that there's athletes there, so it just gives it like that cool factor, and I want them to feel good.
That's awesome. I like that. So how else does marketing to a B2B in that world differ from a B2C?
Sure. So as I stated, I was in that B2B distribution world, so I'm very much know what they need in order to have success and bring it forward to the end users, the utility worker. So it's really about the package of how we give them their information and make it easy for them to implement us into their systems, and easy for them to grasp what we're trying to message. We have a taste and learn presentation that can take us between 15 to 30 minutes. And whenever we present this to any end user, our track record of winning is in the 90 percentile. And it should be, because it's just very powerful what we're telling you and what we're giving you. So you just didn't know that was an option. You just been handling, there's one product in particular in the area, or 2 products, and then me too products, just products that are just similar to that. We're the only one that's like, we have a total different value prop and it's going to be good. Come listen to us. And then they do for 15 to a half hour, and they're bought in.
That's cool. So talk real quick. I want to talk real quick about a little experience I had with your sword. I was in back-to-back meetings going through lunch. I was like, I'm going to miss lunch. And a colleague of mine brought some in for samplings. And he brought in some water bottles. He brought in some sword packets. And there's like poured it in, shook it up, and I was like, what the heck, I'll try it. Now, I didn't notice the sodium. I wasn't running around or anything, but I did drink it down. And what I noticed immediately is it kind of like, it wouldn't take away, but it subsided those hunger pangs just enough, and kind of kept you up and going. And I didn't know. We don't talk about that. You don't talk about that because it's fatigue. But I guess hunger pangs is a form of fatigue in some way. But
Absolutely.
it did lower it down and let me kind of get through these back-to-back meetings and finally, get out and finally eventually find something to eat. But no, it was neat, and I didn't think it much about it till a little bit later on. Like, oh, okay, I wasn't focusing on what's to eat. I was focusing on actually getting through the meeting, so that was really nice.
Good. Good. Yeah. No, it's nice additive. There's always additive perks when you have a product that's working with your body, not against it. And that's
Yeah, definitely.
a lot of these products, they're sitting in your stomach for a long time. And there's a lot of work that you got to do to get it going somewhere. So this
Mhm.
one's just flowing, right where you need it to go.
So we talked about from the harvest to pour journey about the ingredients, about how this unique palate piece that comes into play with when you're hot, the muscles of your tongue come alive when it's a certain flavor, or what we call it, taste adaptive feature, and then also talking about the B2B market, how to make this easy to access, yet it can serve all many others.
Yep.
Were there any kind of like challenges along the way in either formulating or making this, like how do you get the people to know about it and try it? And you do the tastings and stuff,
Yeah.
but just getting your foot through that front door.
Um, So, I mean, with anything, I always think it's when someone says no, it means just not now, and how to reapproach it and come to them and make sure that I'm not bringing forth the value prop. Because if I'm communicating the value prop correctly, then there's no reason that they wouldn't be on board. So, I kind of, instead of blaming, I take that on as I got to do my job better. What am I not doing
Okay.
correctly? So I think that the way that we present our marketing and the way we do these taste and learns, and the way we sample out our product to this industry, this niche, really allows us to get the word out and to show it. Obviously,
Mhm.
there's other companies that have products that are similar and have huge marketing budgets, so it's quite easier for them. And
It's a different
sometimes,
story. Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes I leverage with certain products that make sense to, Sword, as you're hearing about it, it's for, going to battlefield that's tense. Hydration also has a sub, way of being used that you had a rough night last
Mhm.
night and you use Sword, you're gonna feel great. If I have a bottle of Sword, if I had too much wine and I had a bottle of Sword that night, the next day I can go running. So it
I
does
like
have
it.
a feature that everyone can use in day to day life as well, and it just makes you alert, and be on your game.
That's
So
great. Okay.
there's fun marketing pieces to go along with it. They can go to the consumer.
All right. So where do you want to take Sword Performance next?
So right now we're on a mission to double the business every year. We have just started out in the Australia market, and we're now looking into Middle East as well. Those are regions that just make sense for the type of product that we have. So we're looking to expand into those areas, and just, we are small. So
Mhm.
we have less to do to even get our niche to be aware of us. I mean,
Mhm.
of course, the whole world using the product, fantastic. We would love that. But, it's just also managing the flow and the inventory and giving our customers this seamless process. You place the order, you receive the product. I know that seems so, rudimentary, but in many ways, supply chain can be such an issue. And so maximizing how our supply chain works so that you can have the ultimate experience with our product is also really, really important. And probably even harder in the B2B world because, it's easier to find that feedback quickly.
That was kind of the question, is what process challenges are you expecting as you scale, and you're also going to have to make
Yeah.
more and produce
Yeah.
more?
So that's definitely been one of my concerns. What's the requirement it takes to get to this number, right? What do I need to buy in order to get to these goals that we have there? And so really working that on a day-to-day basis slash week, managing cash to that level of detail,
Mhm.
and projecting out all of the buys that we need to do for the budget for the year is crucially important. Yes, it can tweak and, can play around with it as things change, but I have tried really hard to understand the customer and what their order patterns are as best as possible. It's still a little bit of a silver ball, but you do the best.
That's a great answer. I like that. So, is there anything within the process right now? Like you say, we're talking about scaling it. Is there anything that you're really looking to improve or maybe even change beyond that? Like I know if you scale up, you kind of just multiply everything. Is there anything within that multiplication, even if you had it right now the way it is, that you'd want to improve right now?
Well, I really trying to keep it simple. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
people get excited about the shining silver object that's out there and change and doing things differently. And I just want to be the best at the process that I have at hand.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 4 flavors that are consistent through our 3 brands, which is the Sword, the Shield, and the Shield Zero. And then we just have 4 flavors, in each of them the same: the berry, lemonade, pineapple, mango, and orange. Just keep it consistent. Could I come out with a bunch of new flavors, new SKUs, do all that? Absolutely. Sean Stasco, mad scientist, would love to do that. But, that's not something that we can manage and give the service
Mm-hmm.
to. So I really want to have both. And in order to have both, you have to minimize what is the offering that you're giving. And I'm most passionate about this product, the formulation, and what it does for you. And that's really important. Of course, it should taste good, and that's why we have it in 4 flavors. But it's really like you should be getting addicted to this healthy hydration. That's ultimately what, how your body feels. That should be the addiction. And like keeping it simple that you can get it when you order it is really great. Not waiting, 10 weeks to get the product, then you forgot about it.
I like that kind of improving or really nailing down what is working. Simplistic and not necessarily improving about that, but focusing on that. How can you make the areas around it better, and instead of expanding out to new flavors and such?
I do
So
a lot of
what's
sampling,
working?
and I do the sample
Yeah.
packaging better. Great. We have a retail type products on Amazon. Can we expand that? You'll have other of the same products we have, but just do more packaging for Amazon. Like there's different things like that we can do and tweaks. But I really do want to just keep it to those three product lines.
Like it. Okay, great. So this is actually nice. You're really great for delivering these segues for me. Thank you. And so if you were to talk to an entrepreneur getting into something along these lines, what would you tell them right now?
It's an interesting question, although you probably don't think it's that interesting. If you were to ask me this a year ago, I would have a much different answer than I'm going to have now.
Interesting.
So the core to who I am, I'm a pretty loyal person, overly trusting. And there's a lot of good things that can come from those 2 qualities, but there's also a lot of roadblocks and pain and suffering that can come from them as well. And, I, instead of having my eyes wide open, I was partnered and loyal to a fault to someone in this company. And it really didn't allow us to make the right and proper decisions for the business. And so, and I might have taken the partnership and the loyalty and the trust that we had formulated above what was right for this business ultimately. And now that I have my eyes way open, it's a bummer in the sense that I'm behind the 8 ball of where I would have been had I not been so loyal and trusting. So
interesting. So be prepared for lessons learned as you become an entrepreneur. You're going to discover things you wish you didn't discover, but now you know and you're stronger for it.
Absolutely stronger for it. I mean, I still don't want to take that away. It's, I feel my life has been filled with wonderful friends and great, husband, children, all those things because of my trust and loyalty and love. So I don't want to take it all away, but I just have to open my eyes a little bit.
That's great advice. I appreciate that. So a couple more questions. This one's kind of fun. Could be hard, could be easy. So when you are in your company, what is your favorite beverage? And when you're just outside, going out to eat, having fun with your friends, what's your favorite beverage then?
Okay, so that's such an easy one. So you don't know me, but one of the things about me is that I like everything, but I do have a sweet tooth. And in order to satisfy my sweet tooth, I have a Shield Zero every single night. And the berry just does exactly what I needed to do. It satisfies me, makes me feel like I had something sweet, and I'm all so that's one of probably my definite drink of choice.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I'm out with friends, what's my choice?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not necessarily, it might not be, it's more of a tequila. I'm a kind of a tequila girl.
Awesome.
That's the
All
way.
right. I like it. So that's great because I just talked to not too long ago a person who does agave spirits. So
Yeah.
look them up. Yeah. All right. And my other question for you is, do you have any events or promotions, or where can people find Sword and Shield where they're if they're very interested in this?
Sure, absolutely. So as I mentioned many times today, we are B2B. So we go through large
Mm-hmm.
distribution. So if you are at a company that buys through, Granger, Fastenal, Airgas, MSC, those types of companies, we're available through them. We're also in buying groups. We'll be actually in Indianapolis in a week and a half at DBA. And we are also heavily on Amazon, and we have set it up where if you subscribe and save, so we, offer that up. There's a discount there to set it up. I'm on it as well. And I have it come to my house just religiously, and I have my Shield Zero, and my son is very much addicted to the Sword.
Mm-hmm.
It has led him to some home runs in baseball. So he makes sure that
Nice.
he does it before every baseball game, no doubt. So it's good stuff, but definitely on Amazon, please.
All right. Yeah. So check it out on Amazon. Try it out. Like I said, I've tried it out. I thought it was really good. Had some great positive effects from it as well.
And we have a storefront on Amazon. So Sword Performance, there's a storefront on Amazon. You can see all of our products there, and we'll be, adding more on. But right now you'll see all of our powders on Amazon.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure to have that in the show notes as well.
Yep.
All right. So really, this is really great, Robyn. I really enjoyed this. You've given us a lot of neat ideas about running a business this way, and a B2B, nonetheless, of a beverage industry. Most beverages are B2C. And this is really a unique look into a B2B beverage business and how you serve people and how you've taken this and really noticed a niche for it, and had a passion for bringing it to this place. I find appreciation for that. My dad worked in steel mills, so definitely was a thing. And I love the adaptive taste feature. It's the first time I've ever heard of that, and I think that's a really cool thing. How that does, it's almost like an indicator. Can't quite get over that. That's really neat. And then coming into a company and just kind of having to restructure, reorganize, and refocus where it needs to be with the great product. And the one thing I didn't hear, it was like we needed to remake the product. You took what that was there and gave it some life and gave it a place and a purpose. Yeah. That's really, really great. So I really appreciate your time, and I hope a lot of other companies come out, hear your lessons, and take heed and learn from this. Robyn, thanks again for your time, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Sword Performance. Good night.
Thank you for listening to Harvest to Pour, the business of beverages with Matthew Shipp. Check the show notes for our guest contact information. And connect with Matthew Shipp on LinkedIn today.